It's time. Well, hello. Happy Thursday night. We are so thrilled to be here. I'm here. My name is Tia Knapp, for those who don't know. And beside me on the virtual seat is.
Dr. Michael Gross. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm really happy, really pleased you're on tonight. We have a great message for you. I'll let TU do the intro.
Thank you, Michael. I could go on and on and on about how amazing I believe you are. You know, you have changed my life so much. And I mean, you are the epitome of excellence when it comes to what you do. So, for those of you who don't know who Dr. Michael Gross is, he's a professional keynote speaker, energy transformational coach, entrepreneur, and the author of The Spiritual Primer. Applying God's 12 transformational laws to reawaken your soul by reconnecting to God, the true source, to experience your true source's love, joy, and happiness. He helps you achieve a beautifully unlimited life. For over 30 years, Dr. Michael Gross has been a spiritual teacher, a multidimensional healer, a transformational coach who is exceptionally skilled in all aspects of soul, oversoul, vibrations, frequencies, body, timing, life force energies, and many other things that he can do. He holds many degrees, and some of which include a doctorate of alternative healing, psychology, Reiki master teacher, thought field therapist. He's a certified professional hypnotherapist and a non-denominational minister. He has so many skills and so many gifts that he is open to sharing with us. So we're really, truly blessed to have him spend some of his quality time giving his messages here tonight and every Thursday night from 7 to 7:30. So feel free to put your comments below. I'll put all his contact information in the comments, and we will get right to it, okay? Michael offers workshops and so much more, but I'd like to get him right to the topic, okay? One more thing, Michael, though, I want to share. He's not only all the things I already listed, he's also an international intuitive consultant for corporations and has traveled over half the world. His clients are in the USA, Australia, New Zealand, South America, Asia, and other countries, and he's recently now even reaching the people in the Baltic countries, Sweden, and South Korea. So I'm thrilled and blessed to introduce all of you to Dr. Michael Gross.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Well, thank you for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate it. Just think about my life before I talk about ancestors. And, the most important thing for us to realize is that, to be out of control is to be in control. In other words, just let your life flow because you wrote your life story. You planned all these things to experience all these things before you incarnated. And you chose your family, friends, relatives, etc., because of certain specific missions and goals, maybe karma or whatever. And in doing that, that's a little introduction to all of you to talk about your ancestry. And it's so important. First of all, let's go way back, trillions of years ago. And your ancestors, actually, you're actually an ET, extraterrestrial. Your DNA is that of many different types of ETs. I go, wow. So you're star-seeded. Yes, you are. In this body. Your soul is a different story, and we may address that at another time. But you chose your ancestry based upon whomever you chose as your parents. So therefore, if you ended up in the Baltic countries, you would look like, blonde-eyed, blonde, blue-eyed, fair skin, not all, but some of them. If you're down in South America, you would look like a South American native. Or if you're in the Asian countries, you would look like an Asian. But even there are separations in Asians where Japanese look different than Koreans and Filipinos and so on and so forth. But you chose all that. You chose all that for a specific reason. As I chose mine came from Europe, and my heritage came way back from Russian heritage. And my great grandparents left Russia because of the communistic rule coming in during actually just around World War One. So they left and migrated to the United States, but that was their heritage. So if we trace all the heritage back and your ancestors, you have their DNA. You have their eye color, you have their vibrations, your frequencies, you have your height, your width, depth, and even your understanding. And your body is also part of your ancestry. So if your ancestors were hunters and gatherers, which most of ours were, then you have your certain blood type and that you have a certain type of diet that will support your body. Now, that's nothing against, let's say, hunters and gatherers, the vegetarians or vegans, has nothing to do with that. It's what you chose as your ancestors and what their DNA and their bodies were built on. So, therefore, if you desire to become a vegan or a vegetarian, go ahead. But your body and your blood type supports those type of foods. And if you look at your DNA, supposing there was a propensity for addiction in your family. And if you could chase your ancestors, your family tree, you would find they had certain types of addictions. Maybe you go back to Middle Eastern times, and Middle Eastern times, you may have a propensity to have dry skin or darker skin because of the sun or things were going on. Or if were in Africa, you would have a different look based on being an African and darker skin to protect you against the sun. All those things are there, but your body also, your muscles, ligaments, tendons, veins, arteries, everything comes from your ancestors. Would be very interesting to check back on your ancestry as far as you can. You could call it genealogy, or whatever. But because you chose your body and you chose what's going on, I'd like to perhaps give you a few examples. And that is, there are many souls that I work with and they have an addiction to alcohol. And their grandparents or great grandparents and on and on and on have that addiction. So you have that DNA, that chromosome that's addicted to alcohol. And let's say you have an allergy to gluten or dairy or whatever it may be. You got it from your ancestors. Or suppose you have an addiction to being overweight, or you addicted personality to certain types of foods or relationships or whatever. All that comes from your ancestry. So you say, well, why would I choose that? I don't know. Why would you choose it? And honestly, you would choose it to learn about self worth, self love, and self esteem. Oh, there's that great three again: self worth, self love, and self esteem. And you can choose to learn it. Well, here's the most beautiful thing, and that is, if you have an addiction, whatever it may be, or an allergy, whatever it may be, it's in your DNA. You know that you can change the vibration and frequency of that DNA to heal it or replace it with one that is not has an addictive personality or that propensity for drugs or even mental, processes, depression, anxiety. All that comes from your ancestors. And you go, boy, why did I choose that one? And sometimes when I look at my life, why did I choose that one? I do the same thing. And then I realize I chose it because everything in your life, every experience in your life is to empower you. So we go back to there's no such thing as failure. Failure really means success. You learn what works and didn't work. But if you would concentrate on whatever the DNA that you are unhappy with in your family, and you know what it is by this time, by their propensity, how they behave, their temperament, and the way they were brought up, you have the power to change that. Well, how can I change that? Very simple. Sometimes the answers are so simple that it seems so complex. And before I go into answering that, I want to remind everybody that in my early days, I asked the true source, why is spirituality, why are the things we do so difficult? And the answer is, you humans make a big deal out about it, of everything. And I go, yeah, you're right, we do. Understanding all answers are simple. What is it in us that makes it so difficult? And the answer is, of course, is everything that you're ready and prepared to come into this lifetime. You have planned. You have said, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to power. I'm going to heal whatever karma from my past lives that I need to heal in this lifetime. That's the first step. The second step is when you're looking around, your family and your children have chosen you to be the cycle breaker. That's the second reason. And the third reason is when you're doing this, is to realize that you're in control of your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, and your body. Therefore, anything can be healed and enhanced and changed. So let's look about enhance. If you have a propensity towards, I don't know, alcohol or maybe gluten intolerance or whatever, you have the power to change that. I know to you would like to say something before I continue.
Thank you for the opportunity. You mentioned cycle breaker, and you just like clicked a chord in my head when you said that we choose our family and they also choose us. So can you put a little more feed us a little bit more information on that, please?
Absolutely. So if we talk about a cycle breaker, you incarnated in a family that has their idiosyncrasies. Let's say alcohol. We'll just pick that. Or gluten, but we'll pick alcohol for the sake of discussion. And that means you have an addiction, and that has to do with how you feel about yourself, how you regard yourself, and how you view your life, self worth, self love, and self esteem. So you chose that family who had that addiction to heal yourself. Now, it's far more far reaching. Your children, if you have children, chose you to help them overcome that addiction that their soul experienced in a past life. But once you overcome that, that line of addictions becomes broken. What do I mean by that? It means your mothers and fathers and so on, three generations in the past, mother and father, grandparents, great grandparents, that has that addiction. You broke it and you broke that line for them so they don't have to reincarnate and experience it because you have that energy and vibration or frequency of their DNA that they may choose again when they incarnate. But also, your children chose that because they have the same problem. So, as you are the cycle breaker, in other words, you're the leader, you show them how to do it, show them how to overcome it. They never have to experience it again in any future lives. Because after three generations in the past, in the present, and the future, it's over and done with. There may be some other things, but that'll be over and done with. That's how important it is. So, get back to my thoughts that I was telling you. How do I change my DNA? Well, it's very hard and it's very easy. It's hard because your ego goes, well, you can't do it. You're born with it. You have to suffer with it. You came here to learn a lesson. You'll never succeed. Yada, 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 yada. But in truth, who's in control of your frequencies and vibrations of your life? You are. Well, what is that? It's energy. It has a color, a vibration. It's color, a frequency, an energy, a sound. And even it has a color to it that matches the sound, that matches the energy, that matches the frequency, and that you are now able to discern, because that's the last part, that you can do this. Well, you don't have to delve into it. What is my color? What is my frequency? What is my vibration? How do I change it? What do I do? How come I've got stop? You already know that. Your soul knows that. It's the analytical, logical mind, which I call the analogical mind, and the ego. Set that aside. Well, how can I set it aside? Again, I want to reiterate that when you have these thoughts of doubt, just say, thank you, ego. I appreciate it. I'll get back to you later. Don't argue with the ego because it's going to win. But you say, I'll get back to you later. That empowers you to do the next step. So the next step is, how do I change my propensity through my DNA to have these addictions or some balancing in my DNA or my life or whatever it may be? And the answer is that Change your thoughts and change your thinking. Well, all right, so next thought is I desire to heal this and change the propensity through my DNA and chromosomes. Well, how do I do that? Well, go into a meditation and you can do one of three steps. First step is go into a meditation and ask to understand why you created this in your life. What are you to learn from it? That's number one. That cannot be changed. You have to go through that process. Keep asking and asking and asking and asking. It may take a long time or it may be very simple. And the thoughts that come into your mind, as long as you don't have what I call, well, you did this because you're no good, you're this or that or whatever. But that's your ego. So thank you, ego. I appreciate it. Go back to it. And when the thought comes is that you chose this because something in a past life was very difficult, or you chose this because you're a cycle breaker, or you chose this because to heal and empower yourself. Something along those words, along those lines. They don't have to be direct. The next thing you desire to do, this is optional, this part, you'd like to see where the DNA is located. Now, this is challenging because, well, I can't see it. I've tried 3.2 milliseconds. It's not working. That's your ego. So you may have to concentrate on it for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, right? That's optional. Or the next thing is ask for you to know the vibration and frequency and energy and color of that DNA. You don't have to visualize it. You'll sense it or feel it. You'll feel a melody, you'll feel a little song going through it, or you'll feel a little tingling or warmth or something along those lines. Ask for the true source to assist you to either replace or to heal it with grace and ease and effortlessly. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then concentrate on it and do it every day till you notice a difference so that that propensity for you to have that addiction or whatever's an imbalance in your body just disappears. How do you know it disappears? You'll just wake up one morning and say, I feel great. I don't know why. It's gone. And it's always replaced with something positive. That's all it is. It's that easy. But you may have to meditate. I remember there was a project I was meditating on, and I wanted to see it. I meditated for 2.5, maybe almost 3 hours. Takes a lot of patience. I don't do that very often, but I did it, saw what I needed to see, and began to work on it. You don't have to meditate for 2.5 to 3 hours. However, just keep meditating. So, how do I really do this? First thing you need to do is when you're meditating, you want to go into a darkened room, right? Make sure the sun isn't shining. It could be daylight, the lights are off. Or go to your bedroom or your office. Close the blinds. Why? Because you don't want the light to disturb you. Disturb you. Car could go by and the sun is shining and something goes off their uh, glass or their mirror and there's something that sparks in your room. Something like that may occur. Or something else, you may hear dogs barking and you'll look out and see a dog or something to distract you. But along this process, your ego is going to go, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to stop you. How do you prevent that? Well, many times, like when I meditate, well, I got to do the laundry, I got to go shopping, I got to let the dog out, I got to blah, 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 blah. And I knew that's my ego distracting me. This is what I suggest you to do. There are many, many forms of meditation. And everybody thinks theirs are the best or the greatest. And I think no differently. But I'll give you a reason. And I've said this before, but it's important for you to realize that. Every word has a frequency, an energy, a color, and a vibration. And it means something. So as you say anger, it's a lower vibration, makes you angry. As you say joy, happiness, yeah, it's a much higher vibration. And of course, the highest vibrational word is love. Okay. So when you start looking at that, love, right alongside, just a hair below it. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, love is the highest vibration. That's a 10.0 on a scale of 10. I am is a 9.85, pretty close. And so we look at a 9.85. What does I am means? I, you exist. Am is one of the many, many different names for the true source or God, if you will. When you say I am, it says you're one with the true source, and the true source is one with you. You know why? Because you got the DNA of the true source. Not so much your body, but more of your soul. Second most powerful, and we'll call that about a 9.2, 9.0, dream heaven. And so when you meditate, you're inhaling, dream, exhale, heaven. What's really happening? You're bringing in a vibration that your soul knows about. And it works with your soul to help you manifest. That's a manifestation vibration dream heaven. Because the old saying, if you can dream it or visualize it, it will happen more quickly. By inhaling dream and exhaling heaven, your soul goes, oh, well, we're going to send you more energy because you have a goal that you chose. And we're going to work with you to develop not only healing, because when you inhale dream in heaven, it works with you to heal whatever needs to be healing. So if you're changing your chromosomes or DNA, of course you're healing yourself. It's a foregone conclusion. Then I got to do the laundry. Dream heaven, and you distracted. After a while, you may almost feel like you're sleeping or you're in a very deep, deep meditation. And that's perfectly all right. And then you'll either sense or feel or see something. So this is called your third eye. You may have a vision. You don't have a vision, you'll have a thought or a sense or a feeling. That's all. One of the three, or all three, makes no difference. And eventually you'll begin to feel a shift in your body. So our human side, our ego goes, well, it really didn't happen. Well, maybe it happened. Well, how do I know it happened? Did it happen? Didn't happen. The minute you start that stuff, thank you, ego, I'll get back to you. You know why? Because your ego is afraid. What's it afraid of? It's afraid because it knows when you birth out of your body, your ego goes, disappears. It's gone. The experience you have resides in your soul at all times, from the day you left the bosom of the true source to this very second. And that could be trillions of years ago. So, in spite of what the biblical teachings are, it goes back trillions of years. That's how old your soul is. The biblical teachings are just somebody else's recorded information. Some of it's true, some of it's empowering, some of it's blocking, some of it's limiting. And that's what you need to understand. So when I say to you, you're unlimited, well, what does that mean? It means you can achieve and do anything. But think about what I've shared with you. Play this over and over again and begin to do this process. And you'll be amazed at the healing that begins. Maybe it'll take you a month, 3 months. Maybe it'll take you 20 seconds. It's up to each one of you individually, but it's something you can achieve. Because, why? Because your vibrations, your frequency, figuratively speaking, your DNA is that of the true source. Your cellular structure has an outline and complete energy of the universe. And your pure energy. So as you think, you create, as you create, you experience. That's directly from the true source. But the mind can conceive, the body will believe from the true source. And the last one, the past is but an experience, the present is but a moment, and the future is but a thought. Once you realize all of those and embrace all those, you realize that you are in control of your life. So as the true source said, are you a slave of your fears or master of your life? Which are you? You have free will and free choice. You can choose anything. Maybe you have to work at it. But there isn't one thing in your life that you haven't tried to work hard, whether it's learning to drive a car, riding a riding a bicycle, or maybe skiing or doing something in athletics. You worked at it, worked at it, worked at it, and you became good at it. Even in college, high school, whatever you've learned. This is not new. It's only your ego that's blocking you. So think about that. And we may have more. I think next week or next time you listen to this, you'll have a lot more, but we're running a little short on time. So I want to thank all of you for joining us, and I'd like to ask your assistance. And that is every Tuesday evening from 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. I have what you call Soul Awakening. It's really fun. You ask the questions, and I try to answer the questions. And then I leave a 10-minute little message. Maybe there are things oh, I heard this before. Maybe you'll hear it in a different way, or maybe it'll remind you of something. Because when you're there, there's a reason you're there. Your soul wants you there, and there's something you need to learn or remember. And that's very empowering. Therefore, this is done on freeconferencecall.com, and all you need to do is phone in. So give them that telephone number, would you please?
I'll give it the number, and I also have a message that I'd like to share with you that just popped up on the screen, okay? But first, the phone number, it's 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael?
125-446-pound.
One more time, 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael?
125-446-pound. I love to do that.
There's a message here. Krista just wrote in and said that when she does the Dream Heaven meditation, which you shared with her, I don't know exactly when, she said she always sees Bo. That's her young child who birthed out. And she says she always sees Bo at a place along the lake where she took him every day for a walk, and he's always got a smile on his face. What a beautiful message.
What's a beautiful message. Yes, it is so beautiful. It's telling her that he is fine, he is safe, he is happy, and he's joyous. And don't feel any guilt. What a beautiful, wonderful, loving message. Can't be any more powerful than that. What a blessing for you. Thank you for sharing. And thank you because we're sharing it with others who will benefit from this. Any other message before we continue?
Not right now, Michael. So let's keep moving.
All
Okay.
right. So using the same telephone number, the same access code, the second Saturday of every month, 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time, we do what I call the mass consciousness healing. Well, what is that? It's a beautiful, beautiful ceremony in which is so simple. We become a vehicle, a conduit to bring through the true source's unconditional love and then spread it throughout this planet, the animal, mineral, and vegetable kingdom. The humans, we're part animal. We're considered that. And it changes everything. With the hurricanes that have been going on, with the wars, the protests, the fear, the doubts, the inflation, everything that's going on, we need this more and more because we need to turn this planet back into a beautiful, loving planet, the Garden of Eden, proverbial Garden of Eden. And my personal mission goal, my reason I'm here, is to help everybody to reconnect with the true source, to do their spiritual mission and goal, which is part of it, is to turn this beautiful, loving planet back into love. Therefore, I would encourage all of you, spread the word, join us. What are we going to do? We talk for a few minutes, we joke, and then we go into a deep meditation around 11:03, 11:05, and then silence until about 10:58. I come back on, play a little music, and you're done. It will change your whole month. More importantly, the vibration of energy goes through your body. It's healing and it's empowering and helps you to do your mission and goal. To access that, again, it's on freeconferencecall.com. So you can do it in your pajamas. No one will ever know. And give them that telephone number.
Absolutely. Um, Krista, the one who gave you that message, just really quick, she sent you hearts and a big thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the number for the Mass Consciousness Healing Meditation is 202 926 1059. And the access code, Michael?
125446 #. Same
Would you,
as the Soul Awakening.
would you give them that time again on Saturday morning,
It's
please?
9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
One more thing, and that is that you can watch what I call the replays. Go to Dr. Michael B. Gross YouTube, and you'll see our podcasts. We have a couple of years of podcasts, but also there are messages with beautiful photography done by an award-winning photographer, Tio Knapp, and there are motivational thoughts, but also you can hear some of the motivational messages. And push the subscribe button, because the more people that kind of pay attention and benefit from what I have to share, which is channeled from the true source, it's called an algorithm, and more people I'll be able to reach to help me do my mission and goal. So access that. Let's say the audio part, you're driving, you're in your car or your home, you're angry, you're upset, or you're lonely, or you're depressed, or you're waiting for dinner to be made and you've got spare time. You can listen to this on your phone. And there are 351, 52 messages, something like that.
Yes,
So Tio, give them that information, please.
absolutely. The recorded message number is 434 300 4170. And the access code, Michael?
125446 #. Same one. One more time, please.
Absolutely. 434 300 4170. And the code, Michael?
125446 #. So when you go on, it's going to ask you what number, and it starts from number 3 up to approximately 351, maybe tonight or next week will be 352. So I forgot to label each one. And of course, you realize there are no mistakes. True Source said, well, the reason you were guided, say, not to list it, you want to read through 352 labels? No, I don't want to do that. So tell everybody to trust their soul. So I don't know what to listen to. I think I'll listen to 291. So you'll listen to it for 10 minutes. That's all it is. You go, wow, just what I needed to hear. And you go, so I get letters or I get people telling me just what I needed to hear. Isn't that beautiful? It's so simple. So I encourage all of you to do that. I also offer a complimentary session. And in the complimentary session, it's in the chat, and it's called Dr. Michael B. Gross. And you could go to my personal or private telephone number and call. And if I can't answer it because I'm tied up, I usually leave the message, I'll call you back. But please, then text me a message afterwards. Just do not text me. You can text me, but I might not get to my text at midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, who stays up that long? I do, because I'm working on things. So that would be the best. And then I offer a 20-minute to half an hour complimentary session, and I'll be glad to assist you. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'll answer as best as I can. So I want to refer that information to you. One more item I'd like to cover, and that is, just briefly, I have the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, TISE, TIISE, and True Source told me to do that. And some tell you time, I'll tell you the story, how quickly it got through and how we got all the things that we needed. And even, you're unlimited. It's a registered trademark, and TISE is a registered trademark, and so on and so forth. But it's all about helping abused women, children, and men. I'll go into it more deeply, but we're open to donations. So with the holidays coming up or whatever, or you have some spare change, Tio will list the information. We're a 501c3. I write a letter of thank you. I tell you exactly what we are so that you'll have no problems with your tax statements are due with the IRS because we are registered. So I thought I'd pass that on to you. The last thing I want to pass on to you is this is brought to you by Healing the Holes in Your Soul. Sounds like a commercial. Yeah, it is a commercial. It's one of those commercials that said it can change your life. It can enhance your life. This is a story about Tionat, who rose from out of the gutter into the light through abuse, through all types of tormenting situations, and hanging in there. It's an empowering story. It's a story that will give you hope, will give you joy. This is a must read. And she'll tell you how to get a hold of that.
Thank you so much, Michael, for your kind words and your help in getting that book that you're holding and out there to the public. But I highly recommend that all of you start here. Take Michael up on his complimentary consultation and start reading this book. He's got, this is his second edition of the Spiritual Primer. There's more golden nuggets in here than in the first one. And this is priceless in my world. It's priceless. It saved my life. It truly saved my life with this beautiful gentleman sitting next to me virtually within the book, and Michael himself. He's brought me so far, and we're coming up on 5 years that we've been working together. I'm so blessed that he's been working with me, because had it not been for him in the book he's holding wouldn't even be in existence. And now my book is also out there helping people. You know, this is definitely a place where if you have, you know, maybe your life is perfect and you're happy and joyous and unconditionally loved, but perhaps you know someone who's struggling like I was. So definitely connect with us, okay? All the contact information is in the comments, and we could go on and on. I could give him accolades for the next 40 years, but we only, you know, we're already running over, so I won't. We appreciate your time and your patience sticking with us, because Michael is truly an incredible person. Definitely listen to his Tuesday night calls. Go to his Facebook channel, his YouTube channel. There is so much wealth in there, you know, wisdom that will be life-changing for you as well. Thank you, Michael, for letting me go a little bit on that one.
You're welcome. So I want to thank all of you. Please share this with others so they can join us on Thursdays evenings, or watch the replays, or go to Dr. Michael B. Gross YouTube. And if you want to check out my website, it's Michael Gross, or actually drmichaelgross.com. And remember, I'm not the urologist, Dr. Michael Gross. But keep looking and you'll see Dr. Michael Gross. All right, everyone. So take care. Remember, you are created out of love, by love, and from love. And we love you. Thank you. I love you all. Namaste.
Namaste. We love you. Invite your friends next Thursday. Thank you for joining us tonight.